Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. It's a new week, but unfortunately I've had a setback in my own personal health. If you can't tell, I'm a little under the weather. Just a little, though. Yep. Got sick. I don't even know what it was, to be honest with you. One day, I think it might have been on Sunday, I started sneezing quite a bit. And I'm only saying this because it's affecting my voice and I can't hide it. You know, I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm fine. I'm 100%, which I am. I mean, I feel good, but you can tell I don't sound 100%. But one day, Sunday, I just started sneezing a lot. Same thing that happened last time. And now I sound like this. Sound like crap. I don't know what it is. It's terrible. It actually pissed me off because I just got off of some kind of sickness like 2 weeks ago. And I was just like, you gotta be kidding me. How does anyone live like this? You know, I can't. I'm actually furious that I'm not feeling 100%. It's pretty annoying. It doesn't, it's not a good feeling. I don't want to feel like this. I want to feel good. I want to actually feel better and not like so. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, I'm not like actually sick. I don't have like any fever, body aches, fatigue, none of that stuff. But I do have sinus issues. And it's not a sinus infection. Pretty sure I've had one of those before and it's not like this at all. But it could just be allergies. I know that I said that 2 weeks ago, but I feel like now it kind of might be because it is brighter outside, so that means that there's more flowers blooming. So that kind of makes it seem like it could be that more than anything, but I don't know. I don't know at this point. I feel like it's just, this never happens within this like short of a time frame where I feel bad 1 week, get better, good for a week, next week get bad again. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it is not a good feeling. It's actually pretty horrible. It's not something that you want to go through. But again, I don't think it's actually anything serious. I think it's just like something like small, which, it's, not, while it's not a good feeling, still better than actually being like, actually really sick, which is, always good. Maybe the season's changing, maybe because we went forward in time this past weekend and it just kind of shifted my entire body clock. I mean, I did feel it Sunday, after the time shifted. So maybe like there was some weird astronomical thing that happens when we shift in the times and it made my body not adjust to it and it got me sick. That could be a possibility. I don't know what else it could be, but, something clearly wants me sick. Whether it's the universe or God or whoever's in command, someone out there wants me to feel bad. And I actually kind of hate that I have to do the show like this because it's annoying to hear people sick. It's annoying to hear them when they're not feeling well. And it's annoying for me too because I have to speak while I'm sounding unwell. So it's quite the tragedy. It's not something that I want to do. It's not something that I think that it's fine to do. It's not fine. It's totally not okay. But you got to do what you got to do, You don't go like me with 162 episodes of a podcast and not have a couple sick days. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not like I said, I'm like not like immobile. I can move around and do things, and I'm active. I still went to the gym like this, and I still, still to this day, I still feel better when I'm at the gym than when I'm just chilling at home, off medication. When I'm not even on medication, I'm at the gym, I just feel better. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Doctors, help me out. What's going on? But the show must go on. And it will. And so will I. Trust me, once I'm feeling better, I just can't wait for that feeling. I can't wait for the moment where I'm like, I can breathe clearly. I don't have to blow my nose all the time. I don't sound like a bitch. Like, oh, it'll be like an incredible feeling. I just want to chase it and get to there because I feel like, I do everything that I can to make myself feel better. Medication, I drink emergencies, I get good sleep, and yet still I get betrayed. I want to say it was a time change because I can't really mark anything that, that has happened to me or that I was exposed to that would actually get me this sick. Can't pinpoint it. Can't really find, the beginning of where this might have happened. I've looked for it. I can't find it. So I'm going to go blame the time change because that's all I could think of. Like that morning I woke up, I was okay. Like around maybe 11 o'clock, started sneezing bad. I was like, oh, hell. Look, God give me strength, It was just terrible. So I've been perusing the internet, and why is my phone doing this? Give me a sec. I have been perusing the internet, and I've come across a couple things that kind of caught my eye the past week. One of them was pretty crazy, actually infuriated me, and it was shocking news, I would guess. Pretty shocking news. One, because I didn't know that this thing was going to be still going on. I thought it would have been a little bit of a break before we got another one, but yet here we are. I think I've reviewed or talked about the Venom movies on this podcast. Pretty sure I have reviewed them both on this podcast and talked about them ad nauseum, how much I hate those films. I think that those movies truly, only make money because one, Venom is a popular character for whatever reason. I don't know. Like, I don't know why you would want to watch a Venom film without Spider-Man. I feel like you kind of need both of them to make a movie, make anything really good. Two, I think because, just Venom, Tom Hardy, Venom and Tom Hardy. People like Tom Hardy. People like Tom Hardy as Venom. And I don't like either of them. I mean, Tom Hardy's a good actor, but him as Venom is kind of cringe. I never really understood why people liked Tom Hardy as Venom. Cringe movies, like really, really bad movies. Both of the movies are just so bad. Like they're, to me, like one and done. Like I'll watch it, just to see if it's bad or if it's good. And then I'll be like, you know what? This shit sucks. I'm out. Both movies, I could safely say both movies, in my opinion, suck. So I don't watch them. I don't rewatch them. I'm like going to be like, oh, look, Venom's on TV. Why don't we just watch from where it's at? Nah. I'd much rather, I wouldn't watch anything worser, but I would just want to like ignore it. I'd be like, yeah, fuck that. I don't want to watch Venom. But the news came out though that the third movie is happening, and the title of the movie came out, and it might be one of the worst titles of a movie that has ever been titled. And I mean, like, one of the worst. I mean, Madam Web was a pretty bad title. I know that's the character's name, but, like, still, like, the fact that they made a movie about Madam Web and titled it Madam Web, pretty goddamn awful. Terrible title. From what I've heard, terrible movie. I never saw it, but I was like, this looks like shit from the beginning. I'm like, I ain't gonna check this shit out. I ain't even gonna come near it with a 10-foot pole. Like, I ain't even gonna get near that toxic shit. This absolute garbage of what they're trying to sell me. Get the hell out of here. But the Venom 3 title might be worse. The title of Venom 3 is Venom 3, The Last Dance. DANCE, dance. You know, like the documentary on the Chicago Bulls and Michael Jordan, The Last Dance? It's called Venom 3, The Last Dance. And I honestly thought that that might have been like one of the worst things that somebody has ever come up with. I know Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage, is a bad movie. Pretty sick title, though. Because not only is, carnage like an adjective of describing, something bad. Carnage, it's a nice word. It's also the name of a character that is similar to Venom, a symbiote that is like Venom. I believe it's like Venom's arch nemesis. Like, can you also imagine that there's a world where, people write about a Spider-Man villain, as Venom, and that villain Venom also has an arch nemesis named Carnage. So even though the movie itself, Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage, is awful, the title is great. Like, it's a great title for Venom 2. Venom 3, however, I can't see anyone being like, yo, this is going to be sick. Like, Venom 3, The Last Dance, they straight up don't care. Like, I saw that, and I was like, I cannot believe what I'm actually seeing right here. Venom 3, The Last Dance. What is this about? Or is there actually going to be like a dance-off? If this is like some silly-ass movie where Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock is going to be dancing as, with his symbiote suit, dancing with Venom, could you imagine if it's like both of those two guys, Venom and Eddie, in a dance competition, and it's called The Last Dance, and the whole premise of the film is that they're in a dance tournament, and that they, each person in the dance tournament has their own little gimmick and their own little talent, and that Eddie's talent in this dance competition is he's also a giant symbiote called Venom, and he could change into this like gigantic symbiote creature that is freaking terrifying and an alien. It doesn't make any sense. And that's his whole thing. And that's how he wins the dance competition. Like, I'm just trying to picture how people are going to react when hearing that the Venom movie's title is called Venom: The Last Dance. Did Sony actually think, the people that made Venom, Morbius, Madam Web, and now in all three of the Venom movies, did anybody actually think that, hey, we got to make the title, kind of like what the movie is going to be about? Like, I have to be going into the theater. If I'm a person that doesn't watch any trailers and I just go in because it's about Venom and I'm a Venom fan and I see this, I'm thinking to myself that, oh, Venom's going to be in a dance competition and he's going to win, hopefully. That's the mission of the movie. That's the objective, is for Eddie Brock and Venom to win this dance competition. That's what I'm thinking. I don't think anybody's going to be going into it in another way, in a think like what does that even mean? Like, just the last movie? Like, why would you even call it that? Right? It makes no sense. I think that the people who wrote this movie were so cut out of the movie and have pretty much very little say of what is going to be happening in this movie, what's in this movie, what's going to be shown in this movie, that I feel like the writers of this movie have been completely axed, and that this is going to be a very heavily studio-driven movie, kind of like what I heard about Madam Web. I heard about Madam Web being like a very, very gutted and butchered movie from someone who wrote something, and a studio executive came in and was like, yeah, this is okay, but I'm going to make it better. Someone who typically does not write stories or characters or films is going to be ushering like a new story that the director that they paid is going to have to make, which is kind of like what I'm hearing and kind of assuming about this Venom 3 The Last Dance movie. Now, I think I've gotten to this point where I feel like in my life, I don't really give a shit anymore about superhero movies until James Gunn's Superman. Like this whole year, well, I might watch Deadpool and Wolverine, but besides that, I ain't gonna see any other superhero movies probably ever. Like I'm not gonna watch anymore. I think at this point, I just don't care. The people who make them don't really care either. So it's like, yeah, I think I'm just gonna be on your side and just not care. That'll be okay. I think we'll both win in that situation. So I just won't give a shit. And I think I'm cool with that. I think I'm cool with that. The studio's not going to be cool with that, but I don't really care. So if they don't care, I don't care. But I can't see myself seeing this Venom 3 piece of shit movie, unless like it really catches my eye and I'm like, yo, Venom 3, The Last Dance, a dance competition, like sign me up. Holy shit. I would be, I would be like so enthralled and so excited to see it if that was what it was about and I was actually interested. But hearing like not much of a synopsis is out at all, and I didn't give a fuck about the first two, I couldn't care less to see this film. Not even for like reviewer, like to review it, I wouldn't even want to just waste my time reviewing this, watching it so I could review it. It wouldn't even be a good usage of my time. That's how much like I don't really care about this, about watching this movie. I just would not want to waste my time watching a movie that I already pretty much know I'm going to hate, And the reason I say this also is because, yeah, like trailers can be deceiving, right? But I feel like nowadays with superhero movies, like the trailers are more and more, I wouldn't say accurate, but like they're more and more just showing you the entire movie instead of like keeping things away to not show you. Like especially Marvel Studios movies, that they just show everything in the trailer because they need people to see it. They need to get people's asses into seats to watch it because they're a dying company. So I feel like they're doing all that they can. And even with this, like I'm probably not going to see it. I'm already kind of declaring it right now. I'm not going to watch Venom 3 The Last Dance. I don't plan to. I don't want to. Even if it was like my dying wish, I would say, hey, do not let me see this movie, please. It'll kill me even faster. I have a month to live, and this movie will end my life if you watch it. If you let me watch it, please, for the love of Christ, don't let me watch it, It's a bit dramatic, but that's how much I don't want to watch it. How much I am anti-Venom 3 The Last Dance, right? Like, I just keep me away, please. That's the same thing how I feel with Joker 2, though. A little off topic, but Joker 2 is supposed to be a musical with Joaquin Phoenix back as the Joker, Lady Gaga as someone in the movie. Dude, when I heard that was actually true, I was like, dude, I'm out. Like, I don't know if I could take Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga singing about them being Jokers. Mr. Joker and Mrs. Joker. Like, I don't think I could do that. Like, for real. Like, the first movie of Joker was good. I haven't seen it since, but I feel like it doesn't have much of a rewatchability. I've seen scenes here and there, and I'm like, yeah, this was cool when it came out, but, it kind of marinated and it kind of spoiled my opinion. Like, I'm just like, it's cool. I mean, I probably wouldn't give it as high as a review as a score I gave it when it came out. I think I went pretty high with that movie. I think I went like a 9.1 out of 10 on Joker, and I'm like, that's kind of high. I'd probably go with like a 8.2. You know, it's a good movie. It's very watchable. But now I think it's like it hasn't really ripened with age. It's kind of spoiled in my opinion with age. So like I just kind of wouldn't want to go back and watch Joker 2 or Joker 1. And the fact that I said that this was going to be a musical just kind of even inflames or engorges or makes predominant why I don't really care about any superhero movie coming out in the near future besides Deadpool and Superman. Like, I just don't give a shit. I really don't care. They got nothing going for them, so I won't give them anything that I have. So, not to be a Debbie Downer, right? Not to be a negative, but it's just like there's nothing out there that's really interesting me right now that I haven't seen. Dune Part 2 was incredible. I saw it again for the second time this past weekend. I don't care. I might see it again this third time this week, this coming up weekend. So sue me. I don't care. I like good film. I like good cinema, right? So if anything is going to make me want to see Venom 3: The Last Dance, it would probably have to be that it's about a dance competition, because that would be so silly and that would be so out of left field and that would be so like nobody had ever expected that. But it would probably piss so many hardcore Venom fans off, and they would freaking riot in the street and have pitchforks marching towards Sony Studios and be like, "What have you done to my boy? Why have you done this to my favorite character of all time?" I don't know many people that have Venom as their favorite character of all time, but I'm sure there's got to be a few of them. And I just feel like the Venom movies, as a whole, I think have been a disservice to Venom fans. If by chance that this next movie, Venom 3: The Last Dance, is in fact about a dance competition where Venom has to win or lose, right? That would be like the nail in the coffin for Venom fans. Like, they probably at that point would have killed the character, as he should be. No one cares about Venom if he's not with Spider-Man, and just like, that's it, it's over. We don't want you anymore. Probably just wrap the book up right there on Venom. Like, who is this character? The symbiote attached to this guy who was rivals with Peter Parker and Spider-Man. What was his name again? Like, no one's going to remember Venom if it's actually about a dance competition that Eddie Brock has to win or he dies. Something so over the top and so stupid. Like, the title itself is so silly that how can anybody be like, "Oh, I'm excited for this. This is going to be awesome." Like, bro, no one cares. Nobody's excited. No one gives a shit. Like, you done goofed. Sony, by the way, should never make a film again. After Madam Web bombing the way that it did, Sony should never make another comic book movie ever again. I know this is again off topic, but they have a movie that's coming out called Kraven the Hunter, starring Aaron Taylor Johnson, the leading man himself. And that movie, I think, got pushed back to God knows when. I don't think that anybody knows when that movie's coming out. I don't think anybody cares when that movie's going to come out. I don't think that anybody actually wants to see that movie because the track record that these guys have, right? Sony with Marvel properties that are not Spider-Man is atrocious. Not only in box office, besides Venom 1, but viewer score, viewer review, viewer engagement, viewer pleasurement, whatever you want to call it. Does the viewer like the movie? The answer is no. Most people don't like these movies, so why are they making them? What's the point? They're only losing money, right? They're only losing a ton of money that they're not going to get back. I almost feel like these companies are run by absolute idiots and morons that have no idea what they're doing. It's kind of funny But it's also kind of sad because of how much time and effort was put into making movies like this. And they're just, no one cares about them. No one even gives a shit. It's crazy. Speaking of movies, the Oscars were this past weekend. Did I watch? No, absolutely not. I don't know why I didn't. I'm usually a movie guy. I usually enjoy watching the Oscars, especially if I have a dog in the fight, which was for me Oppenheimer. But in this case, I did not watch them, mainly because I kind of forgot about them. Like, I remember, like, before they were starting, before they began, I remember, like, oh, the Oscars are today. And I'm like, oh, Oppenheimer should win some awards. And it did. It won a lot of awards. It won for Best Achievement in Film Editing, which is good. Best Achievement in Cinematography. Beautiful movie. Beautiful looking movie. Should have won that, and it did. Congrats. Best Performance by an Actor in a Supporting Role. Robert Downey Jr. Absolutely. I said it in my review. This dude was incredible in this movie. The fact that he got his Oscar, beautiful. Best Performance by an Actor in a Leading Role. Cillian Murphy won that one. Another great performance. I mean, that dude. You know, the movie is not good if Cillian Murphy as Oppenheimer is not good. And that dude was incredible in this movie. Every scene that he was in, he was commanding the leading dude. There was no point in time where the writers were like, all right, well, my actor is not that good, but I like him a lot. So we're going to make him the lead role, but he's going to be overshadowed by a couple characters that come into play. And we'll make it so, like, it's about him, but he's not going to be doing much of the heavy lifting. Nah, this movie was about Oppenheimer, and Cillian Murphy delivered that performance. Best Achievement in Directing, Christopher Nolan won that one. Beautiful. Should have won it. Incredible. Whoa, this is weird. What is this? No, sorry. Best Achievement in Music written for motion pictures, Ludwig Göransson. Great music for that. Fantastic, amazing music. And then at the end, best motion picture of the year, Oppenheimer. Beautiful. Won Best Picture, Best Director. Beautiful. Chef's kiss. Justice was served. It was the best movie of the year. Come on. I mean, there was nothing that even came close, in my opinion. Maybe if Doom Part 2 actually came out in November, I would have given it to Doom Part 2. But since Oppenheimer dodged a bullet in that point, Oppenheimer wins. And I loved it. Thank you so much. The Academy got it right. You know, cinema actually won. And it proves to me that, you know, a movie like Oppenheimer, that not only is so critic pleasing, but also crowd pleasing, and also Academy pleasing, is like, yo, like, we need to really tap into what kind of movies we are talking about here and what kind of movies are coming out in the near future, because, hey, people loved Oppenheimer. A lot of people saw it, and a lot of people loved it. And it wasn't an existing IP. It wasn't a franchise. It was just an incredible director being like, you know what? I'm going to make a good-ass film. I'm going to make a good film about Robert Oppenheimer, the guy who made the atomic bomb. And I'm going to make it good. And I'm going to make it so people love it. And it wins Best Picture, which it does, which it did. And just make a killer-ass movie. Like, we need people like that in Hollywood to make cool, original stuff. Because that's what we need. You know, it's crazy to think about, you know, in a time where Marvel's dying, Star Wars is dead, DC's trying to come back to life, and you know, original films like Oppenheimer, Barbie this past year do really well. Some success for Dune, which is a franchise, but not as, you know, known for like Marvel or Star Wars or DC, that propel and they actually make good films. It's amazing when you get somebody who's as passionate as a Christopher Nolan or a Denis Villeneuve that actually make the movie that they want to make. Isn't it amazing when you get a talented person and not gut their film and make what they want and see what audiences actually have to say about it? It's incredible. Meanwhile, you get these corporate driven movies like, Madam Web, anything that Marvel Studios puts out, like Captain Marvel, that are so like studio driven and punched up and made to feel like a corporate film that no one actually gives a shit anymore. Like to a movie that, an artist actually crafted this movie and made it as good as it is right now. And because he wasn't, strung up and chained up from executives and studio heads, that people actually showed up and watched the movie. Isn't it crazy? Meanwhile, Oppenheimer nearly made $1 billion, right? I think it made like maybe 800 and something. Let me look it up real quick, because it made a lot of money on a movie that people didn't think that was going to make that much money, or at least on paper. You look at it, you're like, is this going to make money? Probably not. But let me see. Oppenheimer made $958 million worldwide. That's nearly $1 billion for a movie about a person, right? A biopic made almost $1 billion, right? That's a lot of money. And what did the latest Marvel movie make? What was it, The Marvels? Let's see this shit. The Marvels that came out that same year, $206 million. Something's going on, people. Something's up. This surefire formula of superheroes doing superhero things is not selling like it used to. What else came out last year? The Flash. That came out last year too. What did that make? What was that? $271 million. So still not enough money. And those movies cost a whole lot more than Oppenheimer did, than Dune Part 2 did. So there is an issue here. What is it? Well, it's pretty simple. People like good movies. People will go to see good movies. People will go back and see good movies. People saw Oppenheimer multiple times, right? I have seen Dune Part 2 multiple times. When Top Gun Maverick came out and that movie made $1.5 billion, I saw that movie 3 times in theaters. IMAX. Because it was that good. If you make good movies, people will come. They will come. The word of mouth gets out. People will tell you this. My father, we went to go see Dune Part 2 this past weekend. I wasn't too sure if he would like it as much as I did. He saw the first one on TV. He watched it on his TV. I'm like, yeah, I'll watch this. Let's watch this before we see Part 2. Watched it, then we watched Part 2. He was blown away after seeing Dune Part 2. He could not believe what he had seen. He was like, after it ended, he was like, wow. He could not believe what he had seen, how good it was. He was giving praise about everything in the movie. Characters, music, battles, important scenes. Like he was blown away by Dune Part 2. And I'm like, you know what, Dad? That's a good movie. It's just a good movie. Plain and simple. You can talk about this or that, the other. It's hard to deny that this movie's like not great. It's hard to. If you start to do that, then you're fighting it. You're trying to fight it against it. You're fighting up something that shouldn't have been fought over. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, dude, like, it really is that good. And I was just shocked because he doesn't like a whole lot of things. A lot of things don't really impress him. But this one, like, really, like, was like, whoa. He was, like, genuinely, like, he had a great time watching the movie. And I was kind of surprised. But also not surprised because it's a great film. And great films resonate with people. That movie actually resonated with my dad. He was like, dude, the whole thing was incredible. I was like, yeah, it was. So that's what we need. We need new things that are helmed by people who actually care about the material, who actually give a shit about what they are creating. Like Christopher Nolan with Oppenheimer, Denis Villeneuve with Dune. Like, it's just got to be more, in, like, people gotta, I gotta feel like someone actually cared about what they made, right? Because that's what you want, right? You don't always buy store-bought cookies, right? You buy the mom and pop shop cookies, right? That taste even better than the store-bought. Why? Because the person who made it cares more about what they're putting out. It's just a fact. So that needs to be a part of like moving forward with the movies and moving forward with Hollywood. Because, it's not just movies. Apparently streaming content is getting a little bit of a check recently. A survey that was taken from the source of Tubi, which is a streaming platform, says that millennials and Gen Z want original TV and movies. And this is from IndieWire. It's a magazine. It's a website, actually. Now, I'm a millennial, so I can comment on this fully with knowledge that I possess. I agree with this. I think that all the content that we get today, modern day, is either remake, rehash, reshoot, existing IP, existing property, existing franchise. That's all we get. We seem to get a lot of this, right? Now, I will push back on this because there's a lot of original content out there. There's a lot of original content that still is out there because there just is. You can go to any actual streaming service, Hulu, Netflix, Disney, Max, and you will see original content there. It's there. It is there. You cannot not see it. It's all over the place, right? It's just not that good. And some of it is half-assed, not that great, and maybe just not, people don't care about it, right? But there is original content out there. There is. But I also feel like there's never been more remakes and rehashes and franchise installments than there has been today. Like, that is all we see nowadays, right? Whether it's another Marvel movie, whether it's another Disney remake, which, God forbid, I don't want to see those ever again. They make them all the time. They make them nonstop. There was a year, I think, I don't remember which year it was, but I think we had gotten like maybe 2 Disney remakes within the same year. It might have been, or maybe like 1 year after another. It's way too close, right? It might have been the year where we got Lion King and Aladdin back-to-back years. There might have been another one where we got like Lion King, not Lion King, but Aladdin and then Mulan that same year. I think there was a year when that happened, or they might have been back-to-back years. I'm not too sure, but they've all been shit besides Jungle Book and Aladdin. And they're making another one. There's a movie called Mufasa, The Lion King. And it's just like, I know it's like not an original, it's not a new IP. This movie is going to be an original story, but still it's banking off of an existing IP that we already know about. And I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. More of this shit? How much more can we possibly take? The answer is not much more. And it's clear to me that millennials and Gen Zers share the same agreement. And I think that even most people out there would probably say the same thing. Like, we don't want to see any more of these remakes. We don't want to see any more of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I don't even want to see any more Star Wars, to be honest, because everything they put out is crap. Absolute crap. It's just not good. You can only do so much in one particular franchise, in one particular timeline, and make it interesting. I swear to God, I've said this before. how many times are they going to make a movie, a TV show, a series about in Star Wars between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope? There is only so much you could do in that time period. They have made, what, 2 shows, a movie in between that time period? What did they make? The Solo movie is in between that time period. The Obi-Wan TV show is part of the in between those 2 movies. Andor is a part of in between those 2 movies. There's a part of Clone Wars, the animated show, that's part of that too. It's a lot, and it's almost like we're just being stretched too thin. We're being way too stretched out. It also might be a little bit of overexposure, I feel like. Because Dune, we got the first part in 2021. We only got the second part in 2024. And since, besides those 2 movies, we got nothing from that universe, right? Dune doesn't sell toys. Like, no one's buying a Paul Atreides toy, right? So it's not as within the pop culture, within the zeitgeist of what we buy, right? What you buy for, yourself, maybe something for your kid, like a kid's toy, right? It's not in the zeitgeist. So when it comes around, it's a special thing, which is why I think it's having such a big success at the box office, because it's like a thirst that we have, that, the people who make it kind of know that it's a thirst and that it's good enough to stand on its own, that it doesn't need other stuff to build up hype. People will just watch it because it's good, right? So I feel like, because Star Wars is like owned by Disney, that whole exposure and them wanting to milk it dry to the bone to get money to build to make a profit is pretty much in their DNA. That's what they're going to do. That's what they have to do to make a profit, which, is good for capitalism. But, in terms of us who buy the stuff, when we notice that the quality is not very good, well, we're not going to buy anymore. We're not going to be a part of it. We don't want to spend our hard-earned money on something that you're making that you don't really give a shit about. So it kind of backfired, I feel like. Why do you think that there's no Star Wars movies coming out? There hasn't been a Star Wars movie since 2019. They've had plans where they were supposed to release a couple in 2022, 2023. Those never came out. Like, what do you think the problem really is? Is it because that they have, are they scared? Possibly. Why would they be scared? Well, because they probably have no good ideas. Probably because all their ideas are horrible, and they kind of know that, oh, this movie ain't going to do well. We got to cancel it. Like, no one's going to fucking watch this shit. No one's going to want to pay to see this crap. Let's get rid of this. If that is true, if what I just said is true, then that means that they have nobody in charge, nobody commanding, nobody in leadership there that knows what they're trying to make. That they are in a total disarray of what their goal is and what they want to do with this franchise. With this, not just franchise, but with this story in this world and the universe. How they can build upon it. And if you have somebody who doesn't know how to do that, then you don't have somebody who cares about the property itself. And then that's when, you get some crap stuff. And that's when you get some really bad movies and TV shows and all in between. When someone really doesn't know what they're doing. That's probably what's happening at Star Wars. And then it's just obviously, I feel like too much too. Like they put out way too much in the first 5 years that they owned the property. So we're all conditioned to wanting to see more shit, but we don't care anymore. We just don't care. It's sad, but I think it's true. So I'm kind of with millennials and Gen Z that we do need more original stuff. We have a lot of it already, but, I guess better original content would be nice as well. something that I noticed that I think is kind of, I guess in my opinion, too good to be true. It might happen, it might not. But TikTok, all these kids' favorite app might get banned in the US. I think it already passed Congress that it is going to get banned, but it's got to go through the Senate. I'm pretty sure that's how you ban stuff. That's what I've heard. But nonetheless, if TikTok actually winds up being banned in the United States, that would be awesome. That would be a huge victory for me. One, because I don't even use TikTok. In fact, I'm anti-TikTok. The reason why I am anti-TikTok is because I feel like TikTok melts your brain. For real. Now, I don't use it, but I have seen people use it all the time. And by the way, they use it all the time. Like, I see them use it all the time, and they actually use it all the time. The people that I've seen who use it will not get off it. They will just continue to swipe up or swipe down and view and watch and distract themselves from whatever is on their screen. It could be complete bullshit. It could be real. It could be something totally made up. It doesn't matter. Somebody they like. Something that they don't like, that they're giving a viewership to and giving them money ultimately. And just keep on going. And it's almost like because, this whole culture of like playing like videos as soon as you see them and, not really taking any time to digest it, just moving on to the next one, it kind of melts your brain. I think that it does. I think that it's too much of an exposure to content in a much faster pace than that we've ever seen before in human existence. I mean, think about this. Back in the day, you had to go to YouTube, type in what you wanted to see, find the video that you wanted, click on it, wait for it to play, and then watch it. On TikTok, you have zero wait time. You just swipe up, and then you got another video right there. Another video. And all these videos are curated by what you have viewed in the past, or what you have viewed, and that they think that you might also like this, or you might also like that, because you viewed this for this many seconds, or this many minutes, or you swipe past this one really quick. We'll keep that away from you. But maybe we'll show it again one time, maybe you'll like it, and maybe we can give you some more videos just like this. It's weird. And it's not just TikTok, right? It's Instagram as well. Instagram and YouTube Shorts do it as well. So it isn't just them. It's all these platforms, right? But I think that the one that stems from it all, the one that has poisoned the minds of most people in this country, in this world, I think, is TikTok. Like TikTok, there's just too many people on it. There's too many people that use it too much during the day. And, this just might be because I'm an older person, and I don't understand why anybody would want to do that for so long. But I don't see the point. I really don't see the point, because a lot of people who TikTok are not your friends, right? A lot of people who view TikToks are people who are famous on TikTok, and no one really cares about like what your friend posts on TikTok, because, I feel like also TikTok is like a site where you have to be big to use it. I don't see a whole lot of people posting TikToks that are like nobodies. Like, I probably would not use TikTok because I don't know how to use it, for one. And also, like, I don't think that any of my shit would actually be thrown out there for people to view. And like, I would want to continue to use it because anybody can view it. Like, that's the whole point. Like, no one has like a private TikTok account that wants to make it big, right? Nobody uses TikTok and is on private mode. That's just not what it is. You're on TikTok because you want to be seen by multiple people, right? It is probably the most like unprivate social media platform out there. Like, your goal is to be seen by people on that. On other social media apps like Facebook, X, Instagram, you could probably care less on how much people see. You're pretty much only going to be viewed by your friends and family that follow you, right? TikTok is way different. It's like you're almost putting yourself out there for everybody and everyone to see what you are doing. So I feel like a lot of people that are just like, Joe Schmoes on TikTok don't really last long. Like, you gotta have a gimmick, you gotta have a personality, you gotta have something that you do to stay on TikTok and to survive on TikTok. If you want TikTok to be like your basic source of income, which I don't agree with. I don't think you should do that, but some people do. But the fact that it might get banned though in the United States is a big win. They really should ban it. Like, it's not a good thing for your brain. I have seen my sister hours on TikTok, just laying down on TikTok, TikToked out. Her brain has been TikToked, just going. And it just it's never going to stop. They don't quit it. They don't put it down. I mean, she does because she's, mature, but I can only imagine a kid that's 15 years old on TikTok, all the time. Like, wouldn't she get bored? But I guess it's almost like an endless well of content. Even though it's not good content, it's bad content, but it's like an endless well of bad content. And I feel like if you keep drinking from that well, you'll be like, oh, I'm always quenched. I'm never thirsty. I always have, bad content at my disposal. And I think it's good because I'm always quenching my thirst. But it's not good. It's not good, and it's not good for you, in my opinion. So if they end up banning it, I will be rejoicing that it is banned. I know that it's also owned by Chinese, the Chinese government, which is a little shady, is a little weird. The whole fact that it's oh, they're stealing your data. Bro, your data is everywhere by now. Not even just TikTok, but every other company out there has your data. That does concern me, but not as much as rotting your brain. Rotting your brain via TikTok is pretty wild. You're straight up microwaving your brain by just on TikTok all the time. It's just not good. Yeah, it shouldn't be something that, you're like, oh, this is what I do. This is my entertainment. Yeah, I'm on TikTok. Hey, look at me. For hours and hours and hours. That should just not be a thing that you're proud of, So if it does get banned, a lot of people will be out of a job. There's a lot of people out there that rely on TikTok as their basic income. Like I said, that is a thing. Some people get discovered on TikTok. A lot of people that are famous today got discovered on TikTok, and it's pretty wild to think about. You never would have thought that, I, used to do this dance move on TikTok and on this platform, and now look at me. I have a TV show. I'm a reality star. I'm on this this other TV show. I'm on this cooking show. Look at me. I made it big. I'm an actress now. I have an album out. So yeah, it promotes people. It definitely can start a career, but at the end of the day, the people that use it, sometimes it just rots your brain, for the most part, I feel like. So I would be so happy for this app to be banned in the United States. I mean, it does suck that we have to get rid of something that people enjoy, right? It's not a good thing when that happens. But if we can't control the people that are just abusing it, just on it all the time, they have no other life, I don't know. I sound like I'm a little authoritarian right now, but I just feel like overall, if you cut out TikTok, it would make so many people much more healthier, much more stable, much more involved in their actual lives. I don't know. That's what I think, but I don't know. If it does get banned, that would also be a good thing, but it would shock me too, for real. I don't think we've had an app like that, social media platform, something like that, get banned, actually banned in the country. This definitely would be the first one. And it would definitely come as a shock to a lot of people. They'd be like, how can we do this? What are you doing? They'll probably be like, you're suppressing freedom. What? You can use other platforms. It's not the end of the world. Last thing, before I get out of here. Boeing, the airplane manufacturing company Boeing, is in a lot of shit. I don't know a whole lot of details about this story, but I'll give you my best shot. So apparently, Boeing, there was a whistleblower that was coming out about Boeing. Like Boeing plane manufacturers, that they were not checking the planes for safety, like doors, wheels, the oxygen resources on the plane. If they were working at full capability, they just weren't checking. And this guy was whistleblowing on those specific things. And the person who was whistleblowing apparently committed not alive and is now DEAD, dead. So that was a little fishy. Usually, if you're going to be a whistleblower, you pretty much don't even care anymore, right? You're like, fuck this, my career is over. What these guys are doing is not okay. I need to step in. I need to say what I know, and what I'm saying is the truth, and that the world needs to hear what is going on with Boeing. Apparently, the dude is no longer alive, and now that just seems quite fishy. Quite fishy. Pretty sure that when that happens, I think it was reported as committed not alive, which is, he offed himself. But I don't know. I feel like there might have been some foul play in this. I feel like Boeing knew that they were in deep water, deep shit, and that their planes were not safe and their planes were not checked properly, probably because money issues or money reasons that they couldn't afford someone to check their planes. But it's not looking good. And I'm pretty sure that I did fly on a Boeing plane when I went to Las Vegas. And, happily that nothing happened on the plane. Nothing bad happened, at least. But it kind of makes you think now, like, in the future, will I be flying a Boeing? That's going to be a very big question that's going to be asked to a lot of airliners in the coming forever, I think. Like, now, is my plane going to be a Boeing? And if it is, I don't want to fly with you. That is going to be something. Because, like, if they're not checking, like, the doors, the wheels, the oxygen tanks, the oxygen masks, if they're not up to code, you're basically chancing your entire life in a metal tube to get you from one place to another in the sky. I think I read that also, that there was one plane, a Boeing aircraft, where the front wheel, like, fell off. So they had to land all funny. I'm pretty sure that was a Boeing plane too. But you see these stories and you're thinking to yourself, like, yo, how could anybody, fly these? How could anybody have any confidence on air travel when you got planes that don't even belong in the air, that are in the air, that are flying when they know that they shouldn't be? Like, to me, that is insane. And Boeing is such a big manufacturing aircraft company that they have planes everywhere. They've been around forever. Boeing has been a company for decades. Like, they are a well-established company that have a ton of money. Apparently not enough to check all their planes, but still, like, oh man. And the fact that the whistleblower, air quotes, suicide, I don't know, man. I don't necessarily buy that. I don't know. It just seems like, he was going to spill everything, throw his entire life away, and they were just like, get him. Make sure he doesn't talk. And they probably were like, you know what? We got to get this guy. This is getting a little too real, a little too fishy. And now he's dead. That is a scary story. That is scary. I hope I got everything correct. I don't think that I butchered too much information on that. Again, I haven't read everything on it, but that's like the gist of what I've been hearing is, like, Boeing is in deep shit. They're not checking their planes. They're not fully secure. They're not safe for flying. The guy saw this, realized that, hey, Boeing isn't checking their planes. I'm a whistleblower. I'm coming out and saying that Boeing is a fraud. They are dangerous. They're endangering people, and this is what they're not doing and why their planes are shit. And then Boeing was like, nope, dead. That's what I think. That's what I've heard, and that's what I think. I just feel like with this whole situation, so many, like I said, so many of the airlines that we use today have Boeing aircraft. So I don't even know any other plane companies out there that could make planes that, if possible, like, are we ever going to be like, our airliners going to be like, no, we're no longer having Boeing planes in our airliner, so you're safe? Like, that's probably never going to happen. So, like, I think that at this point, it's just like, we're kind of screwed. Like, either we just take the chance on a Boeing, or we find another plane that we can ride, you know? Or, in the meantime, it would be really cool. This would be a cool scenario that would probably never happen, but it'd be really cool. Imagine Boeing taking full responsibility for their crimes, for what they have done, and actually fix all of their planes. Could that even be possible? Logistically, probably not, because there are so many planes out there that Boeing owns, that they make, that they probably have not checked and are probably very faulty. And there's just no way that they're going to recall all those planes to fix them just because some guy was going to say they weren't doing this, they weren't checking that, this is unsafe. Like, in a perfect world, that would be sick if they could fix all their planes and make them actually air friendly and air safe. But that probably isn't going to happen. It's Boeing. They're a company. They're probably in debt by so much money, right? That this whole whistleblower thing would have just ended their entire existence. And there's a lot of people that probably work for Boeing that are, have billions of dollars. They're like, well, I want to take my vacation next summer, so we got to be rid of this guy. This lawsuit's going to kill me. It's going to kill us. It's going to kill everybody. And he's like, you know what? This whistleblower, he's got to go. I don't know. That's what I think. I mean, when have major corporations ever done the right thing? When have they ever actually, like, stepped in and was like, you know what? We were wrong on this. We apologize. We're sorry. We'll be better. We have to be better. Everybody has to be better. And we're going to make this right. Never. They never do that. They never say that. So the fact that, even me just saying that, the hypothetical of like, oh, Boeing's going to fix all their airplanes and they'll be good to go. That shit ain't happening. That could never happen. I could never envision a world where that happens. It's almost impossible to think about. It's impossible. Anyways, that's going to be it for me today, people. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Remember, you can find this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube at Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. New episodes drop every Thursday morning. Make sure to like, subscribe, rate, review, and do all that good stuff. And yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I will see you guys next week.